If you're like me, you have Parkinson's disease or bangs, and one is definitely cooler than the other. I'm very into bangs. Having young onset Parkinson's is pretty interesting. My first symptom of Parkinson's was in 2016. I was in nursing school and I was sitting at my desk and my toes were curling under my feet. I thought I just was drinking a lot of caffeine. What was actually happening is the dopamine in my brain was deficient in some way. Not like the mental health kind of dopamine, it's like presynaptic dopamine in neurons in your brain, sort of. We can get into it later. But basically, that was an involuntary muscle movement, which unfortunately is a sign of Parkinson's. It took me like, let's see, 2016 to 2024 to get diagnosed with Parkinson's. I ignored my symptoms for a while. I really thought it was like my ADHD bumping into things and like dragging my feet when I walked. I didn't really connect that with the toe curling. So getting the diagnosis of Parkinson's really put everything together. And while it was sort of like earth-shattering at the time, now I'm really grateful to know what's going on in my body. I feel like it's empowering. Sometimes Parkinson's is a really visible disease. You can see people kind of rocking. You can see people's hand tremors, but there is a lot of like pretty invisible Parkinson's symptoms for me. Sometimes I feel like my hands are shaking when they're not. Like I feel internal shaking in my body. And also really just like the mental weight of having a chronic illness that will progress is something I'm carrying around every day that people don't see. I go to tennis and people don't know I'm struggling. The coaches tell me like footwork, like, you know, watch that left foot. And I have been like, hey, I have a brain disease. Sometimes people don't know that I'm struggling and sometimes are not as sensitive as I wish they were. Getting diagnosed with Parkinson's has really changed the way I see my body. When I was first diagnosed, my body felt really unsafe because like this is where the bad, scary thing is happening. I have now come to a different perspective where like my body is on my team and it's fighting for me. And so I'm gonna fight for it, like every step, every improvement with physical therapy. You know, I'm training to run a 5K at the end of March. My body is working hard for me and I should love it for all that hard work. And it's like not my body's fault that my brain has a presynaptic dopaminergic deficiency. That's just my lot in life, and spending time like being hateful towards myself just isn't gonna help. It's gonna make it worse, and I'm no interest in making it worse. And this is an ongoing thing, you know, sometimes I really struggle with it. And recently my therapist was like, every morning when you get up, I want you to look in the mirror and give yourself a hug for 60 seconds. And I've been doing that. It's really helped me remember that my body is a gift and I'm grateful for it, and it's working really hard for me, and I'm very appreciative. On harder days when my symptoms are really intense, and like nothing can calm them, the thing that I do that really helps is just do an activity that brings me joy. Tennis has been a big part of my management of this disease. Having young onset Parkinson's does or can mean that you have more mobility and more like muscle strength and control than maybe an elderly person being diagnosed with this disease. So in that way, it's like better. But I also have like, let's see, I'm 32. I have like 50 years for this thing to progress. And that's really scary. But I will say, like, I appreciate that even though I have this disease, I have a lot of mobility, and it's really comforting. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something maybe, and I'll see you next time.